Hello survivors and welcome to the Poison Walker video. In today's video we are playing the Chaoswalker with his new poison weapon. Let's go take a look at it. It is called the Artifact of Corruption. So the name didn't change, but it is nature typing. So we do start off with Infected Shot, which is like the Arcane Weaver's Fiery Missile or the Arcane Missile. So very good skill. Skills that we're looking for today, we're going to be Infected Shot and Corrosion. Corrosion, another new skill where it deals poison damage and then after amount of time it bursts or explodes, dealing the damage based on how many stacks of poison you have. Now, because of the way that synergies and skill typings and that affect the gameplay and your passives and upgrades like that, we are going to mix fire into the build as well. So we are actually going to land up taking a fire bolt, which gives weakness, which means we're going to be dealing more poison. We're going to take flamethrower because it increases, it deals a lot of burn quite quickly, or it applies a lot of burn. And then we're going to be grabbing flame wave for the shattered because we are playing on max curse. So we do want to reduce the armor of the enemies. And then the other poison skill we will be using is either poison bolt or poison puddle, depending on which one we get. Debilitated is very nice here as well. And then we don't do poison cloud because we already have more weakness coming from fire bolt itself. But let's just get straight into it and go from there. Before that, just the runes. We got weapon expert, skill inclination fire, skill inclination nature, multicast mastery, synergetic, Death's Touch, and then Sure-Footed. Death's Touch is for the extra poison, Sure-Footed is for defenses, and then Synergetic does say apparently that, we get an increased chance of being offered synergy power-ups where applying positive or negative effects that can chain. So I'm assuming by that wording that the skill chain power-ups do get shown more often using Synergetic. I will have to, double check that myself. And then we are running max curse, absolutely everything on except for Ethereal Lords. I do think they might be slightly bugged, so I'm not going to be playing with that right now. Also, if you're wondering how I am playing on this, we are playing on the Alpha branch. We're not playing the new beginning, we're playing on the Alpha. So just so you know that. Going to just reduce the skill visibility up to 0.5 or 50%. Just so it's a little bit easier to see everything that is happening on the screen. So as you can see straight from the start, the amount of poison that we're dealing is massive. Very strong debuff right now in the game. Again, we are on the alpha, so if you do go into overlord or something like that, you will look at the old scaling, not the new scaling. So don't expect to get very far in that without the proper build. Whereas in the new beginning update, you can push Overlord very easily with any build, as long as you aren't running, high difficulty, danger level, as well as high curse, where the enemies have that armor and block trance as well. Alright, damage over there. Combustion's also pretty good. It is 0.5. It does give us lasting and aura upgrades as well, so maybe we'll go for that. We'll just see what happens, but we can go for that. There you go. There's the damage increase for lasting already, which is going to increase the damage of corrosion. Again, we don't need poison cloud. We're going to go grab flame wave. We're going to banish the Leviathan. Something that changed as well is we do now have 10 rerolls, 10 banishes, and 10 locks from the very beginning of the run. So we no longer have to really worry about, oh no, this is going to happen or that's going to happen. Maybe if I had more banishes or more locks, it would be better. The developers did decide to, help us in that way and give us more banishes and locks and rerolls in the beginning of the game, which is really awesome. Maybe it's a little bit too powerful, but we'll see. I can't say I felt it being very powerful right now. Alright, so we got flamethrower as well. We are going to grab it. We are looking for the poison bolt as well as the firebolt. We do need firebolt over there instead of combustion, and then we do need poison bolt for the extra poison as well. And then it's a 3-3, and we should hopefully start seeing things that are going to give us increased options for synergies, but we'll see what happens. So there's our firebolt. We're going to grab some HP We got some damage increase for missile typing now since we do have firebolt as well, so infected shots going to get buffed there as well, which is fantastic. And then we are looking for, come on, where's our poison skill? We could go for acid rain right now. That will be fine. That is magical. It's not, oh, it is lasting. That's lasting. It's not aura, but we don't need aura. That's fine. So we're going to get rid of combustion. And now we have a 3-3. A lot of people don't like the blue that you get from acid rain. We're just using it temporarily. We can go burn to slow as well. 75% chance because of synergetic. But yeah, we might as well. And then increase the damage that we deal with poisons is going to be very, very strong there as well. And now we're just going to keep our attacks hitting the bosses. The very first 4 bosses are going to be the hardest to kill, just because we're not as strong as we will be once we get a couple more passives and things like that. So we do just need to be a little bit more careful. But once we start upgrading, there we go. So we can go debilitating poison puddle or poison bolt. Poison bolt, at least we can target an area, and it gives us quite a lot of poison, and a lower cooldown. Where poison puddle has debilitated, which will reduce their damage. But this we can't. Oh, but it is lasting. Yeah, no, we'll go for that. That's lasting, so it makes sense. And then we're going to grab armor. We'll grab a bit of that. Some area of effect for nature is going to come in handy. Alright, so now we just got to try and not die. So, like I said, the first boss fight is going to be the hardest one. Don't worry about that too much. It's going to happen. Once we get more area of effect and more damage, we will start popping off. We do need some of those skill upgrades that we're going to be looking for. More poison stacks, more area of effect. We're not really interested in disarray. So we're going to banish that, and we're going to grab some life over there as well. Alright, so there's the first boss wave dead, done and dusted. Because we are running Pillars of Protection, every time we see one, we are going to go run to it and kill it. We don't want them to be up, and we are going to grab everything pertaining to a poison as much as possible, because we do want all those juicy poison stacks. And poison debuff is the strongest debuff currently, or dot, poison dot is the strongest dot in the game right now. So playing around that is going to make the build pop a lot more. So it just makes sense to kind of go with that. We don't need more of that. We can go with the armor, just so we take that little bit more, a little bit less damage going forward. And we should hit about a 10-minute run here, hopefully, on max curse with all the block and armor also coming from the enemies. But we'll see what happens. We can never really tell. There is, obviously I have done it before because we have to do it before to make sure it actually works. But otherwise, nothing really coming out of the synergies. There's one over there, so now we get multicast on our fire typings. Something interesting to see is, if you can see over here, skill modifications, modifiers over there on the side. As soon as I click on this, it's going to go to 42% multicast chance on all of them. So none of them have multicast chance yet. As soon as we click on that, all of them now have 48%. So it didn't just give us 16, it actually gave us 16 times 3, which is the 48%, which is really, really cool. So you get it per skill typing of nature, just in case that was something that you were actually wondering about and weren't 100% sure. That is also the way that you can test to see how it works. So really cool that we got that now. Damage increase to nature. Powerful strikes also being very good because it's going to increase the damage dealt over there. And let's see just how much stronger we are now. Obviously with the multicast on the fire, that's going to help us with weakness, that's going to help us with shattered and things like that. So Let's see how much of that. I mean, you can already see how much poison we're doing already to the boss, much more than we were previously. So of course, I think this will go a lot faster than the first boss fight. Still have to be careful. We don't want to get, killed needlessly. But bosses are already nearly dead. It is very difficult depending on which bosses spawn as well. In this case, because there are so many negative effects on the floor, it does become quite difficult to get close to these bosses, to spend a lot of time whacking them like we would want. We also have a pillar of protection up. We can't really do much about that. We do have to kill the bosses first, and we do need aura. Area of effect for corrosion. Corrosion is our go-to skill here. We get a massive empowering fire over here. Oh, that is so good. So now we're going to get 60% multicast on everything over here, going on the already big multicast on them. So that's going to be massive. That is beautiful. We don't want doom, so we're actually going to banish this. We don't really do damage from far away, but we're not going to banish that just yet. And then we actually get a multicast on fire. That's going to help us apply more weakness, so we're okay with that. So you can see we're not actually trying to apply a lot of fire. We just use the fire skills to get the empowering skills. It's been a bit of the wrong way around now. We're supposed to get a lot of the fire empowerment, like this one over here, or empowering fire. So where it goes from fire to poison, and therefore we're buffing the poison skills. So we do get one or two really, really good ones, but we want or need a whole lot more. Also, we can run our Ascension right now. We do have full stacks. That should make us feel a lot better. There is a chaotic blessing giving us a lot of area of effect. If that does occur, it will put us in a very, very good spot as well. But we're nearly just over halfway right now, and it's looking alright. Not really the time that we want it to be, but again, it's a decent amount. Grab some life there, destroy this tower. You don't need the towers, it doesn't really change anything to the curses. All it does is actually makes the enemies healthier and harder to kill, but it also provides a lot of, red circles for you to go and dodge now as well. So if you don't want that, you don't need to have it on. There's no real benefit for having it on, except for like an extra additional difficulty or something like that. If that's what you're into, like me, then you can do that. Alright, a bit of better boss run this time. You can see we are actually completely annihilating them, killing them so much faster now. Really, really strong. Corrosion really putting in its work now. We do have to make sure that corrosion pops on the bosses, otherwise that's missed damage. So you kind of have to make sure you get that AoE, so you are killing the bosses with it, or at least hitting them. Because if you aren't, then, it's kind of, well, yeah, missed damage. Alright, increase the damage of every poison you apply. Yes, that's going to be very good. Just going to go and grab that. Increase the damage over there. We could have gone for the area of effect, actually. Sometimes I need to just go that little bit slower. Alright, I think the last two sets of bosses will go a lot faster. Like I mentioned, as you can see, this build is a ramp up. So the more passives you get, the more damage you're going to be doing. I don't think I'm actually going to go... Area of effect doesn't really help us too much over here. It does help with the flame wave, but the skill cooldown might be worth as well. We're actually going to we'll lock it. We'll get both of them. And then what's happening over here, we get chaotic flame walls. Not really interested in that. I wish there was a way to choose it. Maybe in the beginning of the match be like, no, if I use the chaotic blessing, there's a higher chance. Or maybe there's a ruin, or maybe there's something, or somehow if we could in the future get a way to customize the Ascension more often. because one of the reasons I don't play a lot of these characters is because of the randomness of the Ascension, and then I'm like, oh well, you know, half of the time I don't really want to use it because it feels very weak compared to what I could do on another character and just use skill mastery on that character. So it's not that the Ascension needs a buff, but there's parts of it that I really don't use. So like the chaotic firewall or anything like that. If it was just the chaotic blessing where you got a random buff every now and then for, you know, from the Ascension, that would be cool. The chaotic vortex can be really cool sometimes, but otherwise, I mean, they're very gimmicky in a sense, but I still like them, just not for what I'm currently doing. Of course, on lower curse levels, they are very strong because they're going to be killing a whole lot of enemies that you're otherwise not necessarily going to be killing. Alright, so now we're on the pillar of protection over here, going and killing that. Some beautiful damage coming out. It is poisoned, so we didn't have to worry about whether or not we actually killed it. I definitely knew it was going to be dying. Really unfortunate that we weren't getting AoE upgrades for our corrosion, but it is RNG, guys. One run you will do and you'll be like super strong because you got that area of effect, and then other runs you're going to be struggling a bit because you don't have the area of effect. So it all just boils down to, you know, how much or what you're getting. You could get rid of flamethrower for another poison skill, but then when you do get the empowering fire, you're not going to get as many buffs as you would if you had it. So it's up to you to decide. As long as you've got 2 poison, 2 fire, there's a chance you're going to find those buffs, so you don't have to worry about that too much. But you do want to try and get like a healthy thing. You could go for like Bloodlust as your last skill then instead of flamethrower, or something like that as well, but then you are going to get skill chains going from like poison to chaos and so on and so forth, and that just means it's a skill point or upgrade that you otherwise could have had a skill chain for the other elements. So I don't know, I feel like getting a different element over here will kind of play with what you're going to be getting, and you're not going to get the skill chains that you want. Although with RNG, sometimes you don't get them at all, and this is a perfect example of that. But as you can see, even if we don't get the good RNG, we don't need it. We're still able to kill everything as quickly as possible, or humanly possible, and we are able to do it very healthy. So it didn't even lose a life, but we just under 12 minutes, which I think a lot of people need to understand that that's actually a really good time on this alpha because of the bosses having a lot of block and a lot of armor. And there we go, there we have it, 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, you can do it in a lot quicker. It just depends on how lucky you are with all of your you know, damaging skills and everything like that, and your passive. So some of the runs will be under 12, some of them could be under 10. It just really is RNG. But ooh, Poison Puddle dealing the most amount of damage over there. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And always remember, keep safe, survivors. Until next time, cheers.